Hey y'all, it's Lindsay. Today I wanted to share a master mix recipe with you for my single serve chocolate chip cookie that is low carb and keto friendly. I am doing this video in collaboration with a group of other ladies under the title of My Quarantine Kitchen. I'm not under quarantine, I'm sequestered. And it is being hosted by Katie at the Ironheart Mama and Claire over at Cookie Crumb Fun. These two ladies brought together a group of us Trim Healthy Mama, low carb, keto friendly ladies to share encouraging, uplifting, delicious things with you. That's kind of a open, wide collaboration. You never know what you might get. You might get some encouragement, you might get some daily life, you might get some recipes like what I'm going to share with you right now. I do have a playlist in my description down below. I want you to go click on that link and see what kind of encouragement you can glean from these ladies today. Back over to this recipe. So I shared a couple of years ago a muffin in a mug master mix recipe, and it has been so easy to quickly pull together a muffin in a mug or a mug cake that is on plan with Trim Healthy Mama, is low carb, is keto friendly, all of those things. It just simplifies the process in the evenings whenever my husband and I want to have a small treat, but we don't want to have an entire cake or an entire batch of cookies. I'm gonna go ahead and link that muffin in a mug recipe over in the iCards so you can check that out if you like the idea of having master mixes made up for you and ready to go in your kitchen. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna show you my master recipe and then show you how to make one for yourself. My first ingredient is going to be my homemade baking blend. I make this in a large quantity nowadays just because I have been playing around with recipes and doing various things. It simplifies my life. Another thing I'm going to need is my sweet blend. I put together a video a while back for my baking blend and my gentle sweet recipe. I'm gonna go ahead and link that in my video here, but I'm also gonna go through and update those videos for you so it's a little bit easier to find those. I'm also going to be using my baking powder and my sea salt. Oh my goodness, that is wrong. Don't do baking powder, I'm so sorry. Do baking soda. Don't do baking powder. Okay, so I have my 4 ingredients here. I also have a jar I'm going to keep my mix in. I love these jars, they're from IKEA. They're very inexpensive, but literally any jar you have or any container, a bag, if whatever you have on hand, use that to mix your muffin or your cookie in a mug mix together. This just happens to be a jar I have clean and available. It used to hold my muffin in a mug mix, and now it's gonna hold my cookie mix. So first thing I'm gonna start off with is my baking blend. I'm going to use 3 cups of my baking blend. Okay, my next ingredient is going to be my sweet blend. I'm going to do 2 cups of my sweet blend. This is granular so that it gives a better texture to the final product. Next up, I'm going to do 2 teaspoons of baking soda. In the past, I have made the mistake of using baking powder, and it turns out way more cakey and less like a cookie. And my goal is to not make this like a cookie, or I'm sorry, not like, it's to make it less cake-like and much more dense like a regular cookie would be. And finally, I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of of salt. This is some fine sea salt. Use what you have. I prefer a finer grind on the salt situation so it disperses a little more evenly. And then I'm going to grab a whisk and my jar, and I'm just going to incorporate these together. I also like to go ahead and give it a shake. And there we go. Master cookie mix recipe ready to go. I could add the chocolate chips in at this point too because those are shelf stable as well. However, I find that the chocolate chips kind of sink to the bottom, and you want to have a good even distribution of chocolate chips. Otherwise you wind up with all of them at one point, or you know, it's just better whenever you just add them on at the moment. So let's go ahead and mix one of these up quickly. To make my mug recipe, I'm going to use one of these ramekins. This one I got at Target. It's microwave safe, dishwasher safe, all the safes. And I find it makes a really good sized cookie whenever you are doing my full single recipe. But for this recipe, it's going to wind up being a little bit less voluminous because I am trying to make it smaller. So I need in my normal recipe, I used 1.5 tablespoons of butter, but this time I'm only going to use 1 tablespoon of butter. My butter is soft because I keep it in a crock on my counter, but if yours is not, definitely pop it into the microwave and soften it up a bit. Next up, we need the yolk from 1 egg. That is the same as the original recipe. Oh, I busted that yolk open, bummer. It'll be okay. Okay. An egg yolk. I'm gonna go wash my hands. Now I'm going to work on creaming my egg yolk and my butter together. And in my original recipe, I would now add the sweetener to the recipe, or to my mixture, but instead I'm going to just go ahead and add in 1/4 cup of my master mix. I also need some vanilla. So I'm just going to do a splash of vanilla while making a mess on my counter. Classic. And then I'm just going to kind of knead this together a little bit. It's not super easy to mix because the butter is not completely melted and liquefied. So just kind of smash it together like you're creating a dough. Last but not least, some chocolate chips. I like to use these Lily's stevia sweetened semi-sweet chocolate chips. They're really tasty. They're not the least expensive option, I know. I'm gonna go ahead and just put in 1 tablespoon of Lily's. In my recipe, I said you can add 1 to 2 tablespoons. It's really a personal preference, but I'm going to add in about 1 tablespoon and try to evenly distribute those in my dough. And once I've got them the way I like them, I'm gonna smooth out my mixture in my ramekin. It doesn't need to be perfectly smooth, just kind of even so that way it cooks evenly in the microwave. Next step is to pop this into the microwave for a few seconds. My cookie into my microwave. And because it's a smaller cookie than my previous ones, I am going to only do it for about a minute. Ooh, yeah. Okay, so here we go. It's very well completed. It's very soft, which I like in a cookie. And I'm going to taste test this. All right, I did not put any whipped cream on, it's whipped, Lindsay, it's whipped. I did not put any whipped cream on this today because I just don't want to take the trouble to make any. It's so good. I normally do get all of the egg white out whenever I am making this so that it's pure yolk. It's really hard to film with a toddler who thinks that every time you speak, it's time to fuss. I got a little bit of egg white into this because I, broke the yolk. So it's a little bit spongier than I usually get it, but it's still super good. It's so good. You want a bite? It's hot. What do you think of that? It's hot. She says it's hot. What do you think? Does it taste yummy or not good? It's good. Do you like it? Mm-hmm. Of course you do. Okay. This is really good. The toddler wants more. I'm gonna go share the rest of this with her. I really hope you will try this recipe out. Let me know your thoughts on having a master mix in your cabinet. Also, go check out the ladies in the playlist in my description box. I will see you in the next video. Bye.